Well, good day everybody, how are you? Well, today's video is going to be on Davinci Resolve 17 and just how easy is it? Well, there's been a lot of talk about Davinci over the last few years about it being an absolute powerhouse when it comes to editing your footage, and which it is. When you're dealing with Fusion and the color grading section, it's an absolutely fantastic program, being free, very, very powerful indeed. But there are a lot of people who aren't using Davinci because they think it's just way too confusing. But I'm here to show you today, as a standalone easy editor and a quick editor, it is very simple to use. So let's pop on over and check this out, and we'll get started, shall we? Okay, so what we want to do is open Davinci first. So we'll just double click on that icon. That'll bring that up here. Now, I'm using the Davinci Resolve Studio 17. Now, if you've got the free version, whatever we're doing today, it will translate to the free version. There's nothing too specky about it whatsoever. If you've got 16, I would suggest that you do download 17, just so that everything that I am doing can translate over to what you're doing and what you're seeing on your screen too. Just make it a little bit easier. Now, what this opens up here is this section here, and it's just got all of my projects in there. Now, if you're opening Davinci for the first time, you won't have any of that, especially my stuff. You won't have that there. You're just going to have this here. So what we do is we want to start a new project. So we'll just go into new project here, down the bottom, and we'll just call it first tutorial. And we push create, and that will open up Davinci in a second. Here we go. Right, there we go. Now that's Davinci. Have a look at that, will you? What is this? My goodness, there's so much in it. Well, there is, but we're not going to be dealing with most of that today. So what we want to do first is have a little bit of a look at it. So we've got a media section here where you can add all your media, all your files, etc. You've got a cut page where if you've got all your media in here, you can organize it and put things in order and all sorts of stuff like that, or straight into the edit section. And now this is the little puppy I'm used to looking at. I generally don't use media and cut, right? I do everything I want within this section here when it comes to editing. First, we want to do, what I'll do is I'll just move this up here so you can see this. Now, that little wheel down there, the little cog, what we're going to do is set this timeline, make sure everything's all right, so everything that we play back is going to be perfect and not jittery and do all sorts of stupid stuff. So obviously I've been dealing with the 4K footage, and this is my settings here. So we're dealing with the 4K here, Ultra HD. And my frame rate, the most important thing here is to get your frame rate right. Now mine, the Mavic 2 Pro's footage comes out at 29.97 in the specs of the file, so that's at 29.97, and make sure that's 29.97 as well as this one here, down here at the video monitoring at 29.97 as well. They've got to be matched up. If you change this to 24, 25 or 30 or whatever it is, make sure that that changes as well, and make sure that you select that as changed as well, so they all match up to the footage that you're putting in there, and it'll all be nice. So if you've put a 1080p file in there, you just down on that arrow there and you select your 1080p right there, and of course change your frame rates to whatever you film that in as well. Once you put a change in there, this save little button down here will highlight, and you can save it off. But I don't need to do that today because everything's all set there for my 4K footage. So we'll just cancel that there. Cancel. There you go. Okay, so what we want to do is actually get some media in there. Like any other program, you've got to grab media from somewhere and put it in there so you can start editing. So up the top here, what we want to get involved with is the media pool, right? Okay, so you click on that and that'll open this section up here. Now obviously it's empty at the moment. We've got to get some stuff in there. So what I want to do is go get my files. So you go into your file, you go import, and you import media. Now what we want to do now is wherever you've saved your media off, that's where obviously you're going to be looking for your files. So I'll just go like that, and I'll go into, I don't know, Brookwater, I guess. Something like that, that'll do. Now what we want to do is select the files that we want to put in. You can highlight all of these if you want and bring them all in there, but for today we're just going to select a few of them. So just left click and that will highlight that, right? You can double click that and that will go straight in there, but what I want to do is select a couple of files. So that's already highlighted. So on your keyboard, on a Windows keyboard, you press Control and then you left click again and that selects it. and you left click again, and that'll select that, and then you left click again, and that selects that. Now what you do is you want to go down and push open, and that takes it straight into you. There you go there. It's in your media pool now, so that's all ready to rock and roll. But what we want to is a little bit of music in there. So exactly the same process. You go into your file, you go import media, and you go find your music that you want. I might go into final there. I might go into that one, and I'll just select an audio file from there. Boom. Now that goes straight up there. Now to get these into your timeline down here, it's a very simple process. Easy. Now your top line here will be your video, and your bottom line will be the audio. So what we want to do is put the audio in. So we'll just left click on this and hold. So you've grabbed it, and you chuck it straight down into that bottom line there. Done. I'll just move that back over. That's done. But it is a bit of a plain Jane super brain down there, because you can't see what that file's all about. So what I like to do when I'm editing is I like to expand that so I can see the WAV file, so I can see all the highs and lows that the music's actually doing. So it makes it easier to cut to. So what you do is you just got your little mouse there, and just move it slowly up until you get to that bottom line of the audio, until you get that little symbol there, right? That's what you want, because you want to move it up and down. So you left click and hold, and you just drag it, and there's your file. Have a look at that. That's what we want. A beautiful thing. All right, same with the video file. What we want to do is just grab the video file and chuck it in to the video line. All right, so I'm just going to grab one of these. I don't know, this one here. All right, so I'll left click again and drag it down, and there's the file. All right, so obviously at this point I don't want to use this whole file. When I fly the Mavic, I fly and I record for 10, 15, 20 seconds at a time. It makes this editing process a lot easier, because if I'm dealing with a 3 or 4 minute clip, you've got to go through all that footage to try and find shots out of it, and I just find it too time consuming. So as I line shots up, I point and shoot, record, stop recording, and that gives me my shorter files, which you can see here. Now you can preview these files before you put them in the timeline. If you go up to this section up here, you can see that little icon, that'll open up your window there, right? And you can drag these files in, and you can preview them, so they're not actually in the timeline. So you can actually look at these before you put them in the timeline, just to see what they're all about. You can do like a small edit on these while they're in there using a keyboard shortcut. I'm not going to go into keyboard shortcuts today, because there's so many of them and you're just going to forget them. But you can use a keyboard shortcut. If you say, for instance, want it to start there, you push I for in, and where you want it to finish, you push O for out. So O and I. And anyway, when you drag that file, then you've got the in and outs on there. You can drag that file in there. It'll only drag that section of in and out into your timeline, which is a pretty cool thing. But for now, we're not going to use that, and I like to edit with a full screen. So we're going to go back up at the top here, and I'm just going to push that, and we'll take it back to the full screen. So let's check out the footage and see if we want to make some cuts, eh? All right, so there's the music. Drone's not moving. Okay. All right, for now, right? I don't want the drone to be stationary when the music starts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the beginning of where that drone starts to move. So I'll grab this little marker here, and I'll drag it back. So you grab left click on it and hold it, and you just drag it back until the drone stops. Oh look, I'm going to call it about there. Okay, so I want to make a cut there, because I don't want that beginning section here, right? So I want to get rid of that. So as I said, I'm not going to do with shortcuts. I'm just going to do everything that's here, because it's in front of your face and you can check it out. And as you move and you can, progress with Davinci, you can get all your shortcuts all sorted out, and it does actually make it a lot quicker. But anyway, we're just going to do this for now. All right, so we want to cut that, and guess what? The razor blade, yeah, man, that cuts it. So we're going to just highlight that so it goes red, and then we're going to make a cut. So this is where we want the footage to start, basically. So we'll just get it on the line there, and we'll cut it. Thank you very much. Now go back over to this over here, this cursor, and we want this one back again. So what we're going to do is get rid of that footage. So we left click, so it highlights red, as you can see, and then we right click and look. Just at the moment, I'm just going to go delete selected. All right, so that's gone now. We don't have to worry about that. So we pull that footage over to the left, and now we have a little bit of footage with the drone moving and the music starting up. Ooh, now there's going to be a change with the music. Okay, so I want the next scene to come in after the intro of the music, right? So as you can see in the WAV file here, you can see where that music changes. Up on this section here where the WAV file does a spike, right? So we want to check that out. So we'll get it to exactly where it is. So you can just left click and drag this again and have a listen to it. And we'll get it to there, right? Okay, so I want to make a cut there because I want to put another file in there to make the cut right. So what we do, we grab that tool again, the cut tool, and we'll cut it there, boom. And then we'll go back to that icon, the little mouse, and we'll left click to select again and right click, delete, Gonski. All right, we'll get the next clip in. We'll do another couple of clips so we can then put some transitions in. All right, we'll left click and hold. We've got another clip here. And then you can left click and hold, just drag it along. And what I'll do I'll show you this now. You can mute this track, so when you're dragging it, you don't hear the music. So you can mute the M there, and you can solo it. If you've got multiple audio tracks, you can solo one track. So not necessary today. We've only got the one track. So anyway, I've just muted that. So as I drag it, I'm not going to hear any music. So I'll just check this footage out here. Yeah. Now in this section here, you've got your plus and minus, right? So you can actually zoom in and zoom out, which you can on a lot of programs. You know, it's all very basic and standard stuff, this to you know, make your project a bit smaller so it's more manageable to have a look at. I find that when you zoom in is when you're doing your fine stuff, so it makes it a lot easier to work that out. But anyway, we'll keep it at that, and we'll just play that through, and just do another section there as the drone moves backwards. So I think we're going to have 2 backward shots here or whatever it is. But anyway, we're going to cut that there. So what we do, I'll just zoom out a little bit so we can see, and I'll just slide it down the bottom here. See that? You can move that across and do all sorts of things. So anyway, that's just another thing I showed you. Now I want to make a cut here, right? So again, we'll get the razor and we'll cut her there. And what we want to do is get rid of this section here, right? No good, don't want it. So what we'll do here, now remember last time we did delete selected. What we're going to do here at the moment is a ripple delete. Now what that will actually do is remove that bit of footage, but it'll also take this file here and bring that right back to there. So you don't have to worry about anything. It just brings it straight back into the cut point. So what we'll do, ripple delete. And there we have it, right where we want it. So if we watch that, it'll cut there. Okay, beautiful. Now we've got to work out where the next cut's going to be. So I'll just unmute that, and we'll just watch this again. Another change coming up. I want it there. I'm going to change that there. So I'm going to zoom in. Make sure to see that there. It's just a little bit after. So I'll just bring that back to here. And what we'll do is we'll cut that again. So we'll just get that bit of footage there and we will cut it. And we'll push that one again and get that cursor back, and we'll left click and right click. Left click just to select it, as I said, and right click, and we'll just delete the selected there because there's no footage the other side of that clip, so we don't need a ripple delete on that. So just delete that selected there, and we'll just put one more file in for fun, shall we? We'll chuck that one down here. Now, as I said again, we're just going to select a little bit of footage from here and where we want to do it. So just click and drag this across. Look at that. Look at that roux there. You're sitting there going, what the hell's going on over here? All right, so all right, we're going to use that little bit of footage there. Call it that. Okay, so we want to use that footage there. We want to get rid of that footage and some footage after. So what we're going to do again, number one is cut there. Thank you very much. And we're going to ripple delete this one. So left click to highlight, right click and ripple delete. And that brings that footage to there. Now we want to work out where the next cut is at the end of that. So let's cut here like this. And we'll cut it here. All right, that's where we're going to cut again. So we'll just check out that. There it is, right on it, beautiful. All right, so we'll just do this again there, and we will cut there. And we'll select that again, and we'll left click on that, select, and right click, delete selected. Right, now what we're going to look at, assuming we've done 2 or 3 minutes worth of video, right, and there's a lot of cuts in there, and what you want to put in there now are some transitions. Now, the transition sections up here is in the effects library. Now, and you push on that. So within the effects library, you've got lots of stuff, tiles and all that sort of thing. When you start putting, what do you call it, words and overlay over your image, you can go into these tiles here. What we're after today, though, is the video transitions. Now, awesome stuff, these video transitions. There's a lot in there. Now, just to preview what you want, what the transition will look like, you don't have to click or anything. You just hold your mouse over it and you just slide it over to the right, and that gives you an idea of what the transition is going to look like. Look at that. Okay, so that's a nice transition. You've got all sorts of stuff here, barn doors, fall and bounce, boing boing, just like a kangaroo, and there's lots of other stuff in here which you can muck around with and have a look at. So you know, whatever you want to put in there. I'll just call this, like, you know what, I do like these smooth cuts. So what I'll do is left click and hold on the smooth cut, and you drag it down between your clips like that. Make sure it goes between them, and there you go. Right, now this will actually increase the usage of your PC. So if you're going to have any sort of playback issues, then once you start putting in transitions and things like that, this is going to become taxing. So if you're having problems with that, there's a couple of ways of actually making it a lot smoother playback. Now up the top here, you've got playback. Right, now what you want to go into is timeline proxy mode up here. Now you're off, obviously, at the moment. You've got half resolution and quarter resolution. So if you push on quarter resolution, that'll drop the res on your playback, and it will make it a lot smoother once you start getting all these transitions in there. There's another way of doing it. I won't show you that today, but this is just an easy way of doing it. If that doesn't work for you, then drop me a line and I'll tell you another way. I'll probably cover it in another tutorial anyway. But anyway, let's have a look at this transition, shall we? Okay, so let's say that it is complete and we've got 20 cuts in there and we've got 20 bits of footage. Now, the music is still going a little bit too long, right? Ooh, that's way too long. So what we want to do is we want to bring that music back to here. So what I generally do is just make it nice and easy. You can drag them and all sorts of stuff, but anyway, we'll make it nice and easy. We'll just cut it, right? We'll cut it there. So we'll use that tool again, and we want to cut the audio track. So we'll go like this, boom, done. That's cut. And then what you do is you then select your mouse cursor again, you left click to select it, and right click, and we will delete that. Now at the end of it, I guess, you know, if you wanted to fade out or anything like that, extremely simple to do, really easy to do. I'll just expand that again in this area here. Now when you move your mouse over this audio track here, you've got this little white, you see that little white thing there? You can just see it there, and it's on the video track too. I'll show you something with that in a minute. You can grab that, left click and hold, and you just drag it over here. You can drag it all the way along if you want, but you drag it along here, and there's your fade out right there. So we'll just play that. And there you go. That's all done there. Now, in these transitions here, over here with in your effects library, there's all sorts of dip to blacks and all sorts of stuff. Right now, look, you can do it really easily if you just want to do quick little transitions. You can do exactly what I did here in the audio file, but you can do it on a video file. And obviously what that does is it fades it down and brings it back up again. So we'll just do that quickly. We can drag that over here, and the same on the other clip, and drag that over there. So click and hold, you left click and hold it, otherwise it won't work. And we'll watch this little transition. And there you go, a very quick and easy type of edit. Hopefully you've found it easy enough to follow along. If you've got any questions about this whatsoever, I'll be more than happy to answer anybody. So chuck them down in the comments section. There will be more tutorials coming up about Davinci when we're starting to move into the color section, when we're dealing with 8-bit footage that is already colored, just adjusting some contrast and you know, maybe adjust for some overexposure or underexposure, so we can sort that out too as easily as we can. And then we'll go into the deliver section, where we will be setting up the deliver area for a video to be popped onto YouTube. So thank you very much for joining me once again, everybody, and hopefully, as I said, you found some bit of information within this video helpful, and Davinci isn't as daunting as you first thought. So anyway, take care everybody, and I will be sure to see you on the next one. Ciao.